Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 3v3 on Lazenrath Ambush. Our heroes today, let's open up this ugly list so you can actually see it, is going to be Fuel Jesus, playing as the blue, not the blue, but the blue Wehrmacht player. His allies in the yellow, with his Kübel wagon all right up in the front, is Kübel Jesus, playing as the yellow OKW. In the teal, we have Mr. Kübel Jesus, playing as the teal OKW as well. Their opponent in the red, with a scout car already on the field, is going to be Nirvana캐, playing as the Soviets of the Red Army. His allies in the pink is going to be Artemius, currently with the rear echelon squad and obviously from the US forces. And lastly, playing as the Soviet, it is Soviet, who of course also has a scout car on the field. So let's go ahead and slow this down, get it into order, and take the right view. So yeah, while the game gets underway, we are going to talk about those doctrine selections. In fact, we're actually going to speed up a little bit. I know sometimes you don't like it, but I'm not going to do it the whole game. I'm just talking about what's going on. So, while the game gets underway and things start to kick off, we have Fuel Jesus, who is going to be going for the Luftwaffe supply doctrine. We have his ally in the yellow, currently with the Kübel wagon over there at the edge, and infantry in the center. That is going to be Kübel Jesus going for the Luftwaffe ground forces doctrine. And then we have the teal player, Kübel Jesus, going for the breakthrough doctrine. Their opponents in the red, Mr. Nirvana캐, is going to be going for the guard motor coordination tactics. The pink player, Mr. Artemius, is going to be going for Airborne company. And lastly, the orange player with that damaged scout car right now is going to be Soviet with the Lease tactics. So there you go. So now we're only 4 minutes into the game, so not much happening. So we have fighting all over the place. We have shit going on and stuff dying and left and right. But yeah, we have a lot of Kübel wagons going to be coming from the the German forces, it looks like, as both of them are praying to Kübel Jesus apparently. Penal squads are being utilized for Nirvana캐. He has a combat engineer squad with a scout car, so investing heavily in that tier 1. We do have a battle group headquarters in the center of the map right now being produced for Kübel We do have a mechanized regiment headquarters for Kübel Jesus as well. And we have the scout car going up in flames in the left-hand side of the map as that victory point gets overrun there by those penal battalions and the combat engineers. Right-hand side, we have more penal battalions as well. So looking back at base, we have tier 1 for both the Soviet sides. And the pink player, does he have any tech, or is he just going techless so far? Has gotten his Airborne company and gets Pathfinders, but yeah, it doesn't look like he has any additional tech just yet. For the Germans, we know Battle Group Headquarters, Mechanized Regiment Headquarters, and Tier 1 for Fuel Jesus. Right-hand side, a lot of infantry here for Fuel Jesus pushing forward, being supported by a Kübel wagon. Left-hand side, the penal battalions have pushed forward, mines getting laid down for Nirvana캐. Conscripts all the way up to the north to the munitions point, so not bad. Center point, the rifle squads are just pushing forward altogether, and there's not much on the field on the left-hand side for the German forces to be able to stop them with. We do have a Puma on the field for Kübel Jesus. Will be coming out rather soon, but yeah, I mean, not much. Not much. Scout car pushes forward, runs into the Kübel wagon. Kübel wagon will be able to lay some damage in on it if it manages to get some shots off at all. We have shoe mines laid down on the field there for Kübel. The Volksgrenadier squad pushing forward, trying to chase down that scout car. Rocket the Warfare off at range, manages to nail it, and small arms fires finish it off. A lot of infantry pushing. We have rifles and penal battalion pushing forward. The Kübel wagon is in bad shape. It's actually trying to escape, and it's damaged on its engine, so it's going to be dying here. Down goes the Kübel wagon, opening up the center map for the Soviet forces. Or, well, the Allied forces, I should say, since there's rifle squads and penal battalions. Grunt squad's not having too much of an easy time. Gets forced away. A second Grunt squad also trying to force the engagement. We need MGs on the field, and so far it doesn't look like MGs are being produced by fuel Jesus. I mean, this amount of infantry is not going to get stopped by Grens. You would have to have superior numbers, and right now it's just one squad. I mean, 2 squads is a major engagement here. A nice rifle grenade does go off on the approaching rifles, but I mean, it's not going to do too much. Grand Squad forced to retreat. Second Grand Squad also going to be retreating, so yeah. MGs here in the early game would help out. Grand Squad does get eliminated on the retreat. This squad needs to retreat as well. They're not going to have too much time. Grenade goes off, nails one of the guys on the retreat, and the squad makes it out of there through the woods, but the right-hand side flank has been broken. Puma in the center, engaging conscripts as they push forward. The conscripts are a threat because of their AT grenades. He does not know if they have them, but they're going to be a threat regardless. Ambulance on the field for Artemius. He does have his troops over on the right-hand side. The ambulance is going in that direction, so it may eventually link up with them and be able to reinforce them. But the Germans are being pushed back quite severely. We have the Kübel Jesus with no Kübel wagons, so he stopped praying to the god, I suppose. Mechanized, Battle Group Headquarters activated, is getting upgraded with the retreat spot. This one over here for Kübel Shivkara has been upgraded, so they are able to have a little bit of an advanced retreat spot. However, it isn't really that strong. It's not too far up there to be able to provide a nice offensive spot. Still, it's better than nothing, I suppose, but it is a considerable investment in that to not be that up forward. So I don't know. I don't quite like it myself. Anyways, Volkskrins in the center, engaging that one conscript squad, do force it away, but it's still alive with 4 men and not losing men very quickly. So it's actually having a very easy time. Combat units with flamethrowers push forward. The Puma getting some shots off there, but not much happening. Fuel getting dropped right on top of the fuel point here by the Luftwaffe forces or supply doctrine of fuel Jesus, which I suppose that's why he's called that, because he's going to be dropping fuel non-stop, I guess. That might make sense. Juer Panzer Headquarters getting upgraded very early on. We're only 10 minutes in, and it's coming out for Kübel Shivkara, so not bad. It is not in range of the victory point down there, but I mean, it does allow his troops to be covered in that zone, so not a bad decision regardless. But anyways, Penal Battalions and Guards on the left-hand side for Nirvana캐. They are actually set up to engage these Volkskrins on the left-hand side. 4 Volkskrin squads moving forward. They're not going to win the engagement against 3 Penal Battalions and a Guard squad, although 2 Penal Battalions are severely damaged, losing or missing one of their members and very low in health, but still, that's a lot of damage output by those squads, and the Volkskrins are not going to be able to withstand that. A second Guard squad actually gets brought up to the engagement, and yeah. Problem here with the German forces is this: they did not have MG42s. MG42s are only now coming into the game, and they are going to try and stop the approaching infantry, but there's a lot of infantry on the field for the Allied side. I mean, you see massive amounts of infantry just flooding the field all over the place. Even blobbing, you could say, but not too much. Well, that's kind of a blob. Yeah, that's a big blob right there, but still. If you don't get MGs, you can't stop the blob. Can't stop the blob. Grand's retreating. They make it out of there, but it's a tough situation. Heavy machine guns also brought into the field for Soviet, as he did go for the Lend-Lease tactics. You have the Puma over on the left-hand side, but the Guards are nearby, and those can actually be quite difficult. We also have demolition charges set up nearby, so that could be a problem. The Schwere Panzer Headquarters actually trying to engage the rifles on the left-hand side, but it's actually getting shot blocked by this massive tree. Not doing it any favors. It just keeps absorbing the shots. Shots do continue to fly there at the rifles, forcing the retreat of them and opening up that side. Heavy machine gun and conscripts on the victory point are going to be able to cap it. MG42 at range, getting the conscripts suppressed, allowing the troops to push up, but however it is being covered by a heavy machine gun, which will make matters a lot more difficult. Rifles behind the lines, engaging a Volkskrin squad. Grenade flies, the Volkskrins dodge into it. Both of them die. Down to 1 man. Gonna make it out. It's only a 2-man rifle squad, so I'm pretty sure it'll make it out. Storm Pios and Volkskrins push up, and the rifle is forced to retreat. Fusiliers in the way. They're actually trying to catch the squad as it retreats. Can they actually get the kill there? Yeah, they do. With a little bit of help from the Panzer headquarters. And the heavy machine gun catches the Fusiliers as they approach. Storm Pios and Volkswagen squad are running head on onto the Maxim. Well, not Maxim, sorry. That's a heavy machine gun. That's the Dishka. We'll force it away. But they do manage to stabilize. Left-hand side, we still have a blig. Yes, a blig. Blah, 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 blah. And the guard squads and combat engineers are holding this flank. They will be able to hold it quite successfully. And the Volkskrins are forced to retreat once again. We have a machine gun on the field. What machine gun is that? MG-34, I suppose? We saw that Kübel is the one going for the Luftwaffe ground forces doctrine. So yeah, he has the MG-34 available. So yeah, they're now getting MGs finally, which will help them out, but it's more defensive now. Stuka on the field for Kübel. That's actually quite a good idea considering the clump of units that Nirvana캐 is doing. So there goes the Stuka. The guards move out of the way. They hear it coming. And they barely move out of the way. Stuka not managing to get any kills, and the guards stay alive. Right hand side, we got a big engagement. Grunt squads against penal battalions and conscripts. One Grunt squad down to one man, forced to retreat. 3 Grunts pushing all together. But we have enemy troops behind the lines, conscripts going all the way up to the north and decapping points. The one-man Grunt squad retreating, a healthy one-man, so he makes it out of there. And we now have a Jackson tank destroyer on the field. The Jackson is actually set up quite in range of the Panzer headquarters, getting shots off on it. It is going to get shot back by the Raketenwerfer. Raketenwerfer just whiffs the first shot. Jackson tank destroyer makes it out of there and not even takes any damage while inflicting damage to the Juer. It is getting repaired by Storm Pio squads, so it's going to be fine, but, you know, it makes itself known and it's a threat. Rifle squads getting upgraded with bar rifles themselves, so that's going to make them even much more deadly. We do have the captain being utilized to speed up the production of trucks and such, so it's kind of cool. Kind of cool, I suppose. And Grenz on the left-hand side. Sorry, on the right-hand side. It's not the left. Forcing away a conscript squad as the heavy machine gun is moving in their direction. So the Germans managing to kind of stabilize for the most part. They're starting to recover their territory. Up in the north, I mean, Kübel is actually displaying, I mean, it's a very shameful display. Because it's, I mean, he has a forward retreat spot and is not being able to push at all. I mean, he's getting stopped by infantry, and infantry alone. There's not even a heavy machine gun or a Maxim machine gun stopping them in their tracks. And his troops are not even able to push forward one sector outside of his retreat spot. I mean, Defender's advantage gives him that. He's able to reinforce on the fly, so he should be able to make prolonged engagements. However, he's simply just retreating hold his troops very quickly and not managing to break that. He also has a Stuka on the field that is quite capable, but yeah, I don't know. He's very passive and not pushing forward. Puma in the center of the world getting eliminated there by the Jackson. It does get decrewed, so the crew pops back in to deny it to the enemy, get a shot off on the Jackson and forces it away. Another barrage there by the Stuka does manage to finally get some kills on those guards. Penal Battalion ends up the only remaining squad there with only 2 men. So now is the time for those troops to push, but they are pushing over to the right-hand side, trying to force away that, and they're running straight into the other clumps of guard squads. So it's going to be very difficult to deal with. The Grenadiers push forward, or Borg's Grenadiers, I should say. Grenades fly in all directions. The guards are able to dodge that quite easily. And the Volkskrins are going to sit there. Grenades are going to fly in all directions, I believe. The Volkskrins are focusing down one guard squad down to 1 man. And a tank makes it deafening. It's a Storm Tiger. Throws a rocket and it blows up shit and makes everything go silent for a little while. We'll keep an eye on that if we can. But again, with all that broken, Kübel is barely able to push over on the left-hand side. That Penal Battalion's still there alive. He sees that the demolition charge is there, but can't do much about it. And the Jackson tank destroyer still sits in the center as a Panther on the field for Kübel Shuvkare. Gets shot pretty heavily there by the guy. The Storm Tiger is... I mean, come on, get a shot off on that clump. No, why are you turning around? No! Oh, you're missing your opportunity. Look at that clump. It's designed for you to shoot at. Shoot it. Shoot. Shoot her. Shoot. Well, the Storm Tiger decides to not do anything. The rifle squads push forward. The Jackson gets a shot off on it and forces it away. And now with the retreating infantry, it looks like it finally wants to shoot. No, it's not going to shoot again. Why shoot? I mean, he's not there to shoot. He's just there to do stuff. A lot of fuel supplies dropped in the world. Allies could pick them up, so I suppose that's why they're just left there. But, you know. Panzer IV on the right-hand side for fuel, Jesus. He, I mean, I suppose he is doing his job of providing a lot of fuel for the troops. We see Kübel now going for the fuel. How much does he have? Let's go ahead and check the resources. Who is he? Kübel. He has 73 fuel. Not a lot of fuel, but he has been utilizing it. I mean, he is the one that has both a Panther and a Storm Tiger. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose he has been putting it to use. However, sorry, there you go. Not doing too much. Volkskrans and Storm Pioneers running over on the left-hand side, managing to catch a Combat Engineers. Finally getting some kills and allowing the troops to push forward. We see a truck pushing up for Kübel Jesus, and he's maybe finally be able to do something. Victory points now going to be captured by the German forces. We do have 416 points for the Germans, 353 for the Allies. So they're going to be in a bit. M4C Sherman on the field for Soviet, as he does have the Lend-Lease tactics like we mentioned. Meaning he is not going for any tech. He decides to just call in a lot of Shermans. Has 3 Shermans now on the field. There is 2 Jackson tank destroyers on the field for Artemis. And the red player so far has not done anything, but he does have the ability to call in the T-34-85 combat group, so maybe that's what he's waiting for. Panther and Storm Tiger moving over to the right-hand side to engage the Shermans and the conscripts. Volkskrans squad trying to hold the line. Jackson tank destroyers coming in for a nice flank there on both the Storm Tiger and the Panther, getting a lot of damage in there. The Storm Tiger is down to about half strength. The Panther taking a lot of damage. Shoots back at the Jacksons, but it's gonna go down. One more shot there. Yeah, there it goes. Panther gone down. Storm Tiger all that's left there, and the Storm Tiger, as deafening as his shots are, isn't really that great against tanks. Because, well, I mean, it's very slow and very clumsy. Sherman's pushing up all together with a lot of conscripts there for support. I mean, that's a very nicely supported push. Conscripts able to absorb a lot of damage. 1 squad down to 2 men. Of course, the retreat still has 2 more squads left and a combat engineer squad in the field. Sherman's just getting shots off one after the other. The Storm Tiger moves up and doesn't do anything. Still, Storm Tiger is just sitting there because it's very slow to shoot, so it's understandable. Conscripts and everything retreat from the right-hand side, so Fuel Jesus at the very least is able to hold the right-hand side flank. He does have a Panzer IV on the field, but that is about it. Left-hand side, the Schwerpanzer headquarters now getting attacked by 2 T-34-85. It's going to be going down as there is no rocket and warfare on the field to help it out. I mean, at least one would have been a good idea. We do have the Stuka on the field. It could shoot at the tanks, I suppose, but I mean, the Volkskrans are the only thing really that are going to be a threat, and only one of those squads have a Shrek. So, I mean, even then, it's not that big of a threat. And with the guards flanking and the tanks trying to crush him, you can see that, again, Kübel Jesus just retreats his troops. He is very reluctant to keep them in the fight as long as possible and retreat at the last second to keep them alive. He just concedes and allows the tanks to stay there. So the Schwerpanzer headquarters will be going down for Kübel Jesus. We'll get some shots off on those T-34-85s and do damage, but not enough to kill them. They move up, combo the shots, and with 1 more shot flying, they will finish the job. Sherman's on the right-hand side, push forward again. The victory point is still decapped, and all the troops there for Fuel Jesus are forced off of the field. Pack gun finally getting brought onto the field for Fuel Jesus. Volkskrans and Fusiliers capturing the center victory point for Kübel, and that Storm Tiger is getting repaired as the Raketen Warfare hides in the wreckage of the Panther. Jackson tank destroyers are around. There's a lack of infantry, although there are 2 rifles. I mean, really, that captain could actually be put to use now. He doesn't need to keep it out there, but yeah, I mean, trying to get those tanks out as quickly as possible, I suppose, is okay, but I don't know. I don't like it. Sorry about that. Getting a message. I'm so popular and I am so unprofessional. Sorry. Let me put that in mute. There you go. Anyways, bombing strike on top of. Boom. Top of the retreat spot for Artemis. It nails the ambulance, but all the troops managed to make it out of there alive with no real issue. Storm Pioneer Squad going for the cap of the victory points. Victory points. Almost a 100-point lead there for the German forces, but they're getting pushed back right now on the right-hand side. Gren's trying to push forward. Pioneers there for support. MG42 behind and a pack gun. There is a penal battalion there, and that's about it. We do have the heavy machine gun trying to cover the approach, but they need to push more. We still have 4 Shermans on the field for Soviets, so I mean, seems. Oh! Guard squad down to 1 man, almost makes it out. That's Stuka doing quite a bit of work. Stuka is at 19 kills, so not too bad. T-34-85 pushes into the center. We have Volk's Grenadiers with Shreks, now 3 of them equipped at a time. So they are now very capable of dealing a lot of damage. Rocket and Warfare looking in the wrong angle, finally turns its guns, but the T-34-85s make it out of there. T-34s back off. They took about, one of them about 60%. I mean, well, one is at about 60, one is at about 50, so they're fine. Volk's continue to push forward. Shreks fly, T-34 down to about 25% strength. Guard squads, penal battalions, and conscripts going to be running interference there and making sure that they can't continue the pursuit. And once again, he ends up retreating all his troops immediately. Why, I do not know. How's the resources on him? He is Kübel Jesus, right? I mean, he doesn't have a lot of manpower, so I guess he doesn't want to lose too much manpower, but I don't know. I don't like that. With a forward retreat spot, I mean, a Soviet player, you know that he cannot retreat forward. He has to retreat all the way back to base, so you can't afford to keep your units on the field a little bit longer in the engagement and maybe force his squads to retreat or weaken them a little bit more, because in the next engagement, he's going to have to retreat them, and it'll take them longer to come back, so, you know. Don't be too quick to just hit the retreat button all the time. Heavy machine gun catching those Grens inside the trench. Pack gun moves up. Fusilier squad just getting bombarded all over the place by those Shermans. Manages to make it out of the way. Something got dropped? What was it? I don't think it was a rocket strafe, no. So he either called in an AT gun or an MG, but I don't actually see it. Or maybe he called in a paratrooper squad? No, doesn't look like it. Kind of weird. Stuka Barrage going straight onto the victory point. Catches a rifle squad, although just barely. Still 3 men left on that squad, and they end up retreating. The Jackson's a little bit panicked. They crash into the house and collapse it. And on the left-hand side, this point is getting capped by the entire army of Kübel Jesus, as he tends to clump them up and retreat them all together. Nobody gets left behind, so if somebody runs, everybody runs. Jackson's throwing a volley there at the approaching infantry. The infantry for Kübel Jesus now backing off, not holding their line, not getting shots off, and once they're backing off, they put their backs to the enemy and don't actually shoot them back. We see a bombing strike right on top of the approaching infantry. The rifles are there. Incendiary barrage on top of them puts a line there that they cannot cross. And again, all the infantry retreats because, yes, let's retreat all the infantry, but that's fine. They all retreat into the safety of their battle group headquarters. The T-34-85 will be going down as it's now a target there, but it does crush all the troops. Everybody gets squished. That's because, I mean, you're just retreating them all to one spot. Shots fly from the Shrek, but that T-34 has gotten 28 kills to its name because look at that. Just look at the slaughter that it did. Everybody clumped up and gets run over because they're tripping on top of each other. Don't clump up, don't bulk, don't blob, and don't retreat all your blob. Plane or something crashing? Looks like that's a tank dying. Do have a Yak Tiger on the field. The Yak Tiger able to get a lot of shots off there at a distance. Gonna be helping out quite a bit here, but it is currently getting overwhelmed by Shermans. Manages to take out one Sherman. Second Sherman being the target of it right now, but it is currently marked. Gonna be taking a lot of damage, especially in the rear armor there by those Shermans. There's nothing there to support it. We had a Storm Tiger once upon a time, but it's now dead, and it looks like it's right there. And the Yak Tiger gonna be going down to a flock of Shermans? A herd of Shermans? Yeah, probably a herd. Thunderbolt, strafing run, right on top of the Yak Tiger, takes it out. It's out of control, but casually just strolling down the field. Finally goes down. And we have the tanks of all the allies right on top of everything. That battle group headquarters is primed to be taken. The mechanized regiment headquarters will be going down as well. The MG-34 trying to hold the line as much as it can, but oh! A Thunderbolt that looked like crashed almost right on top of a Sherman, but it didn't. It crashed a little bit to the side, so it didn't take it out. But we now see the Shermans eliminating both the mechanized regiment headquarters and the battle group headquarters for Mr. What's his name? Kübel, Jesus? Yeah. And he doesn't have much left. Everything got crushed under the threats of one T-34-85. Center point is still the strong point here for Kübel Shivkar. He has all his building, his storm piles are getting repaired. Let me take the resources away. I don't know why I kept them on. Looks like. And the Jackson tank destroyers in the center, they're not in range to hit that because there's Rocket and Warfare, so they need to get out. That Jackson gets a little bit caught there in the threats and ends up going down. Just look at the sheer amount of allied armor. 4 Shermans, 3 T-34-85s, a Jackson, since there was 2, but well, now 1 died. But the right-hand side has gotten recovered there by Fuel Jesus in the center as well. Victory points 385 to 258. So they do hold a 100-point lead, but that's not a lot, so it'll drain very quickly if they lose their points, and they are severely outmanned. We do have I'll also call this a herd of pack guns moving up to the left-hand side to try to engage all those tanks. One of those guns go down, but they turn their sights on one of the T-34-85s and eliminate it very easily. T-34s get themselves out of the arc of fire of those pack guns, but the pack guns may move. And we have yet another pack gun for Fuel Jesus moving in that direction, so pack guns are great, but I mean, a lot of them together, no. Left-hand side, Sherman's just moving up and destroying the lines there for Fuel Jesus. Gonna allow the troops to recapture the territory on the right-hand side. And the center is getting assaulted by a massive clump here of rifles. Rifles do get grenaded. All of them retreat. He's taking note and following in Kübel Jesus' approach. If you're gonna retreat, retreat everything at the same time, because why would you want to keep fighting, right? You just want to retreat everybody and keep everybody safe. That's the most important thing. No. Pio's moving over to the left-hand side. I believe the only reason they're moving to the left-hand side is because there's a pack gun there that they want to recover. More pack guns moving around in the center. Personally, I feel that, I mean, instead of getting that many pack guns, I mean, pack guns are great if you don't have the fuel, but considering what he's doing and what he has, I mean, just simply get Stugs. I mean, they're not going to get eliminated by the infantry, and they kind of work the same as a pack gun, so if you don't want to invest in the Panzer Force, I mean, get Stugs instead of moving pack guns around like that. He has 476 fuel, so it's not like he can't afford it. And generally speaking, the Stug is, you know, more anti-tank than the Panzer IV. Still, I mean, it would probably be better to go for Tier 4 and get Panthers, at the very least, but well, we'll see. Flak Panzer getting brought into the field for Fuel Jesus. I mean, he wants it, I suppose, to deal with the infantry, but really the infantry isn't the problem at this stage. It's the sheer amount of tanks the Soviets have. They are able to basically blitz the German lines, the German defenses, and get right on top of everything and behind the defenses and the tanks. So that's why I don't like the idea of the pack guns, because the pack guns Yeah, they'll throw a nice volley and maybe pick up a tank before they get overrun, but eventually they're going to get overrun and they'll have to reposition themselves. At least the Stugs can back off and shoot at the same time. So if you position them properly, like on the road or something like that, you know, it works. The situation here, though, we do have the Flak Panzer getting bombarded there and taking a lot of damage. Rifle squads are getting shot by the Flak Panzer, but, I mean, they're going to be able to kill them. They have the ability to throw anti-tank rifle grenades, and those will finish off the Flak Panzer, I believe. Yeah, there it goes. And even a additional strafing run there by the Thunderbolts finish it off. Shermans getting quite battered there in the center. They everybody loses their engines. The pack gun's getting a lot of shots off in there. So that center point is very difficult to break right now for the Soviet armor. But, I mean, well, yeah, it is Soviet armor, even though this is Allied. But although I guess it's US armor because it's German. But anyways, my point is, you know, for the Allied forces' armor, very difficult to break that center point as all the anti-tank is pretty much clumped up in there. But what they can do, and we see here, is they can just simply flank on the right-hand side and go kill the base. Or did it crash? Who knows? Left-hand side, Jackson's having a little bit of trouble there with those Volksgrunts. They are trying to push them around and crush them, but they are they're quite adept at evading tank threats. They have a Shrek equipped. They managed to get some shots off on those Jacksons. The T-34-85s move up to the north, and they are engaging a King Tiger that Kübel Jesus has acquired. It may give the Allies a little bit of breathing room. However, with 2 Jacksons on the field, even that is a very difficult thing to do. More planes just crashing all over the place. Where? I don't actually see it. I just hear them. But yeah, I mean, the King Tiger is very slow. It's currently marked, and the T-34-85 goes in for a strafing run. Manages to get some shots off on the rear armor, but gets the hell out of there. And the other T-34-85 is also back there, so it decides not to move. Incendiary barrage right on top of the approaching rifles forces them to retreat, but the retreat spot is right there in the center, so they'll be back in action very quickly. They also have an ambulance nearby which will heal them up and reinforce them, so yeah, I mean, he's able to retreat and do that. Sorry about that. Combat Engineer Squad way behind enemy lines, goes to cap that point and is also laying down some mines. Gonna get attacked here by Pios, but not before they capture the point. We do have this fuel point getting still dropped with fuel resources, which is nice. And we see the pack guns repositioning themselves over to the left-hand side as the rifles go to cap the left-hand side point. Grants trying to hold the line. We see a lot of infantry approaching. It's very difficult to take down. I mean, if somebody had gone for a Doctrine that had like a strafing run, would be able to deal with these infantry, pin them down, and wipe them off, but nobody did, which is unfortunate there for the Germans, because what do they have? I mean, they have the incendiary bombing run, which is kind of useful. Assault artillery, not really. And airborne assault? Not really either, so I mean, yeah. You want something that deals with infantry directly. For example, a strafing run that pins them down, but yeah. Rifles with their bars right on top of the Grants' asses. Does catch them on the retreat. Manages to stay alive, but they don't have a forward retreat point, so they have to make it out of there. And the packs now finally get what they were going to get because of the fact that they are pack guns. They get flanked by rifles and are decrewed. 2 of them get decrewed. 1 of them makes it out. And we now see a convoy of 3 Jackson tank destroyers and 3 Shermans moving over to the far right-hand side, catching Pios on the retreat. The Pios don't really have too much that they can do. And the tanks are now right in front of the base. They destroy one of the bunkers and move up to the base. And now, definitely, there is nothing that Fuel Jesus can do. Even a straggling Sherman tank is being moved up over to the right-hand side. The Grens, trying as much as they can, they do get a Faust off on one of the Shermans, damaging its engine, but they themselves get eliminated as the Shermans are focusing them down. The Jackson tank destroyers are focusing on the tech buildings. Tech building will be going down, so no tanks available for fuel Jesus. More shots fly all over there. He still has a pack gun on the field. The pack gun is moving back to heal up and reinforce because that's all it can do. We see a Pio squad getting produced there for fuel Jesus. Manages to produce it at the last second. Wait, did he? It looked like he did, but I don't see a Pio squad. Ah, there it is, so he did. And he also has the ability to call in there the Pioneer reinforcements as it appears. Once your headquarters goes down, all his tech goes down, his bunkers go down, so the right-hand side player has been not eliminated, but considerably considerably eliminated. So yeah, so I mean not eliminated, but crippled. Fuel Jesus pretty much only has a pack to fight with. He has some Pios on the field that could be used to help out in repairing, at the very least. Put them to use, get your guys, and he has the ability to call in more Pios through his thing, and is... Huh, interesting. Huh. So, there's no downside to losing your headquarters? That's weird. I mean, what used to happen at the very least, at least in Company Heroes 1, wow, why is that decision? That doesn't make any sense. If you lost your headquarters in Company Heroes 1, your commander abilities would be disabled. The only ability you would have is to call in a worker unit, you know, Pio, engineers, and such. Oh. And you would have to repair your base and get it back to be able to use your abilities. Here, you're still able to use your abilities, and you're still able to build tech. So he decides to just simply go for tier 3 and start building stugs. Now he decides to go for stuff. Wow! Now he should have done that a long time ago. I mean, there's so much armor for the allies. I mean, he needed to have armor himself, and he went for pack guns. I don't know. I don't know how he makes that decision, but whatever. That's fine. Thunderbolt strafing run, doing a lot of damage there to that King Tiger. The King Tiger trying to back off. So we hear planes crashing again all over the place, but who knows? Ah, there it is. It's a nice crash. The guy is back there, but that's fine. Victory points 222 to 225, so it's pretty even there on the point count. However, the Soviets do have a triple cap going and a massive train of troops that are unstoppable right now. I mean, they just have too much in the way of infantry. I mean, if we take a look at resources, we see the Soviets, or I mean the Allied sides, 96, 85, and 72, where the highest one for the Germans is 78 as far as population cap goes. So they just have a lot more than the Germans do. King Tiger on the left, getting a little bit flanked there by those Jacksons. Manages to hit Blitzkrieg and gets itself out of the way, so it stays alive and not flanked. The King Tiger in the center is over here. It's actually back to full strength, so it's fine. Strafing run still being quite annoying against it, but we now have Stugs on the field. More Stugs keep getting produced, which is good, but I fear it may be a case of too little too late. So the sector gets artillery there, and it's going to be dropping a Fallschirmjäger squad, I think. Or is that the... yeah, I think that's a breakthrough one, the one that pops smoke and allows you to get in there. King Tiger backing off as it is getting pushed on by a lot of tanks. I mean, those are 3 Jackson tank destroyers. Even the King Tiger is not good at that. It actually ends up going down as the tanks are primed for taking it down. P-47 Thunderbolts also doing a lot of damage to it. So one is down, and we now see a flank by the Shermans getting themselves right behind the defenses of the Germans. They are going to be able to pick up the buildings here for the teal player. Down goes everything. Yeah, this is it. That's game. Not much else they can do. There is one King Tiger on the field, but just look at the sheer amount of troops that the Soviets have. There's nothing a King Tiger by itself can do. Yay, US faction tanks. And there we go. So they throw in the towel, and that is game. So with the clump of tanks that basically the US provides, that is going to be it. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the emails that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.